Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to IG8Live Esports. Once again, this Thursday evening, we're live with Midwest F1 Esports League, and I think we're making a bit of a change on this one. So we're going with Division 5 this week, and it's for round 3 for the Brazilian Grand Prix. So we're just getting sorted right about now in our short qualifying session here. 18 minutes long is going to be the session. We got 19 drivers on the grid for this one, and should be an interesting qualifying session. We'll see how the Division guys run compared to what we had with Division 4 last week for round 2. So we're just waiting for some of these cars which are now starting to get out on track here, and we should be looking at some lap times pretty soon. We already got a McLaren out all the way into sector 2 on the outlap already, so we're definitely going to be seeing some lap times in here pretty soon. Not overly too long of a lap here, but we'll see what the race session is going to hold for us. I think it's going to be quite interesting as well, because it's a bit of a short rundown into turn 1 here at Brazil, so going to be interesting on that opening lap to see how they get through the first few turns, at least through sector 1 itself. We'll see how well or how bad that's actually going to go for the drivers, but at the moment, let's just keep an eye and see what's going on so far with the qualifying session. You're just getting started, so still just a bit early off in the session to have anything to be compared to, but as we have it, we might be familiar with a few of these names. We've probably seen them on one of my streams before. I am quite familiar with quite a few of these guys. We already got Lone Wolf at the moment in the McLaren getting started on his first qualifying lap here in the session. Let's see what that's going to look like at the end of it. And quite a few more cars already out on track on their out lap. Should be getting started on their hot laps pretty soon as well. So we'll see how well this is all going to go on over. So far so good. We haven't seen an invalidated lap here from the McLaren driver, so hopefully this goes through pretty well and he's able to finish off this lap, possibly get it and get a good lap in. We'll see how it goes. I'm just trying to have a look at what the tire situation is right about now. Looking a bit cloudy on track, I'll be honest with you. Not sure if we're having any rain in the session or not, but just keep it as it is here for now, and let's see what's going to happen as we get further down to the end of this. Might be some rain in the race, I'm not sure. We'll wait for some information from the drivers on that. Probably in the Discord, I'll have a look and see if there is going to be any rain in the session at any point or not, and what exactly is going to happen. So I want to see how this is going to work out. But so far, we got Lone Wolf here with a 109.9. Pretty short lap, as I said. We got Rager 108.5. Goes a bit faster there right now. Let's see who's going to be next to get around. We're going to switch this around a bit. We have a few cars coming across. We got the Guitar Man now goes 108.4. Julian now goes 107.6. We're getting a bit faster here in the session as we get on through these laps. So looking forward to that. We get a House of Darkness here getting across. Where does he go on the grid with this? And goes into P4, a 109.1. Not a bad time for him. Gonna have a lot of time to improve that as well. So we'll see how they get through with this here. And changing around just a bit, Flavius goes up to P4, a 109.0, pushes Darkness down now. So Julian still fastest in the session, 107.6 so far. That what he had there. Dissection here, seen him driven at least about 2 races so far, I think, or 3. I can't really even keep track of it. Let's see where he goes at the end of this current lap. Getting back on the start-finish straight, keeping it as close to the pit wall as he can here, trying to save some time through that lap, and goes second fastest on the grid, a 107.9. A pretty impressive lap for, I would say so. And even though that's on the softs, sorry, on the mediums, it's a pretty good lap. Rage now goes back up into second. 107.8, a 10 faster than Dissection did. Of course, that's on the soft, so a bit of a different strategy working on through this. We're going to go down to the bottom here. Let's see who else is currently running a lap. Looks like Spaceman having some trouble getting that lap sorted through. Solid Banshee here in the Alfa Romeo at the moment, getting through this current lap on a medium set of tires. So let's see where he goes. And then there's a few cars about to get across the line. We're going to see how that grid changes up. Looks like Cobain goes P8 just behind his team into 109.8, only about 7/10 down the time. Got a McLaren off track there. Got Corvette into 9 to 110.9 so far. Who else we have in the mix at the moment here? I think that's about it for now. We kind of went through everyone, I think, at least. Alright, who else is getting across? Bill goes across the line 113.7, not the best of lap. We'll have to try that again. Nitwit goes across P8 109.5, holds out pretty well for now. I think we're pretty close off of the gap, so what I'm liking what I'm seeing with the gap so far. Solid Banshee goes into P5 108.440. Not too bad of a time so far. We're gonna go down and just a bit further on down. Where's Spaceman getting started on the lap, I assume here, getting through sector 2 right about now. See where he's going to be at the end of this current lap. I think we got one of the Hearts possibly getting back into the pits here, I'm not sure. Either way, we got Julian still holding on to fastest lap in the session, and that's of course provisional pole at the moment. We're down to 12 minutes left here in qualifying before we get over to that race session, and it's looking pretty good for him. At 107.689 holds on to that time. Fastest time so far. It's about the 2/10 faster than what Rager has currently here in second in the Alpine dissection, down in third. 107.9, not too bad with those top three in the 107s. We'll see where the rest of the grid is going to be at the next 5 minutes or so. Spaceman still on the lap here, about to finish this off. As you can see, keeps us close to the pit wall as he can as well. Spaceman goes P5 108.413, 300th of a second faster than what Silent Banshee did. And now down to 6 because KD now goes up into fastest for the lap time here, 106.8, and a pretty impressive lap on his end. So that's going to hold up pretty well, even though it's on the soft. Still will hold up pretty well in terms of getting fastest lap. Possibly keeping that. We'll see what's going to happen here. Rob here, where is he on track? Getting through the Mercedes into about to get into sector 3 pretty soon. Hopefully he's going to get a pretty good lap here. We got maturity to get right about now. I think lap times are coming actually pretty quickly through this session so far, so not too bad with that there. And let's keep an eye with the Mercedes here, see where he goes by the end of this. And still on that lap, Texas Rooster, Valentine, and Mahi. There's still a lap time to come in for those 4 drivers that we have at the bottom there. We'll see where they go at the end of this. So as we have it so far, there's a mix of strategies in terms of tires. If we do look at it, looks like Cobain is out of the session. Unfortunately, he retired from it there. So KD is still fastest here in the session, 106.8, the only 106 on the track here at the moment, and he's looking pretty good by the time of keeping provisional pole for the start of the Brazilian Grand Prix. Julian down in second. We got Rachel still down in third, dissection out to fourth. We got Guitar Man in fifth, Spaceman in sixth, Silent Banshee 7, Darkness 8, Flavius in 9, Lone Wolf in 10, Corvette 11. We got Adriel at 12, we got Nitwit 13, Cobain out of the session but in 14, Bill there 15. Still waiting on Rob, Texas Rooster, Valentine, and Mahi here. I'll take on with Rob as he gets across the line here and goes second fastest on the grid. Puts our Mercedes up to there and 107.2 from him. Pretty good time, I would say. Just about 4/10 of the time that KD currently has. So really not that far off, but still a bit of a gap to work with in terms of getting a faster time. We got about 9 minutes 10 seconds or so left here in the session. Gonna get on with Texas Rooster here in the AlphaTauri. You see where he is on track. Purple sector 1 from that current lap as he's currently getting through that, and definitely looking to possibly put that car somewhere in the top 5 here for the start of this race. And hopefully might be able to keep it there. We're going to see how that race start really does work out with this set of drivers here. It's looking pretty impressive with the lap times that we've had there. Everyone's gotten out pretty early off in the session, gotten our lap times pretty quickly in. We haven't seen too many invalidated laps, at least from my end. We got a lot of these drivers are trying to do this on the soft tires. We'll see what the strategy is going to be. It's just over 30 laps here for the race session itself, so might be looking at a 2-stop strategy or maybe just a 1-stop strategy. Just depends on what these guys actually plan to do, and if they're planning on actually accounting for a safety car or a VSC in the race. Might be the case, as we potentially might be having maybe a VSC somewhere in the first 2 laps of this race, or maybe the first 3 laps. Just depends on how badly things might end up going. Just depends on how much drivers will be pushing through that first lap in terms of gaining positions and trying as much as they can just to keep those positions as well. Texas Rooster up to 9th. I got some drivers changing positions around here. 2 drivers only left to get some lap times in. And we're going to wait on that for a bit. So up at the top, what has changed? So KD still holds on to that fastest lap. Rob there still in second. Julian still down to third now. Dissection in fourth. Pretty good lap for him still though. A 107.691. Literally 100th of a second slower than what Julian did. So pretty close up between those two as we can see so far. We're going to keep an eye on the rest of these guys. See where they're going to be at the end of this. Who else is currently running here? We got Darkness at the moment. Where is he getting on through? Might be doing another lap. I'm not sure if he is at the moment. Either way, we're just going to keep on with him. See what's happening on track here. Okay, so back onto this. We got Darkness up into P5 now, 107.5. A pretty impressive lap time from what I'm seeing here right now here with Division 5 from Midwest F1. Got some interesting times. Starlight Banshee now goes fastest in the session. Just actually caught that there at 106.875. KD down to second. He had a 106.877. So literally the difference is just 200 of a 2,000 of a second between them. Going to be pretty interesting to see what the restart between those two is going to be like with the lap times being that close. And I'm kind of worried what's going to happen down with the turn one, but I think they'll probably keep it as clean as possible as they can. Possibly no contact at all, maybe just maybe some minor contact getting through first two turns, or at least first three turns. We'll see how well it goes or how bad it goes between those guys out front. I'm gonna switch this down a bit. Where is Spaceman on track at the moment? Down in 12th here on the grid, trying to improve that lap time that he currently has at 108.4 in the Williams. And where is his teammate? I'm trying to have a look. He's now down to 13, so this grid order is changing up quite a bit as we get further down to the end of the race session here. Alright, so he's about to get into sector 3 there very soon, within another 2 turns or so. So let's see, we got Rob getting back out on another lap there. He's going to be third on the grid for the start of this race. There goes the Williams of Spaceman messing up that lap there and losing the car. Didn't get enough of the session, so possibly has enough time to try this again. Let's see if he's going to try that actually though. I'm going to go down to who doesn't have a lap down at the back bottom here. We got Valentine at the moment in the Ferrari, still trying to get a lap in, getting through sector 1 at the moment. Get on board a bit. I was even have a purple sector here or not. Not a purple sector. Is going to head straight into sector 2 now. Let's see how that is going to go. I see a lot of movement on that grid there on the screen at the moment. So I know some of these drivers are changing positions rapidly, as we can see on through the session. But as it is, down about 4 minutes 15 seconds remaining in this qualifying session. We got Silent Banshee still on provisional pole at the moment, holding on to that time by 2,000 of a second. KD down to second with it. Rob down to third. Guitar Man down to fourth. Dissection in fifth. Darkness down to sixth. Julian down to seventh, who was previously on pole. Rager down to 8th. We got Flavius in 9th. Nitwit 10th. Lone Wolf down to 11th now. Adrill down to 12th. We got Spaceman down to 13. Texas who's in 14th. Corvette in 15. We got Cobain in 16. Bill in 17. Valentine and Mahi there still yet to get lap times in. We got Valentine about to get across, and then where does he go? Goes P8 on the grid. Not too bad of a position, just somewhere in the midfield there, right about now that we'll call that. And a 107.825. Really not too far off. Just went about 300th of a second faster than Rager. So still a pretty decent time for him, but it's looking extremely close between drivers on the grid here, especially out in front with Sarah Banshee and KD. it's a bit worrying with how close those lap times are, but pretty impressive as well. Just goes to show how close the racing is expected to be during the race session itself. So we'll see what's going to happen as we get on through this. So might be doing a bit of comparison here as well, because we've done Division 4 last week. If you guys haven't caught that race, it is currently on the channel. Do check it out from Midwest F1 Division 4. Shouldn't be too far down in the search if you search it down. And we're gonna do Division 5 this week. Probably do a different division next week. I'm not sure. I'm just working whatever the guys have available for me to do, because they do run 5 different divisions, and all 5 divisions are currently running here at the same time. So we're talking approximately close to 100 drivers racing at exactly the same time here for Midwest F1, just depending on if we have a full grid across the 5 divisions at the moment. And we got 19 drivers here in Division 5, so I'm quite sure with the amount of reserves I was told we currently have, I think most of the grids would have minimum of 17 or 18 drivers in them. So give or take at least between 90 to 100 drivers total racing here this evening. Not too bad here for one league. Well, pretty interesting setup as well. I think they're quite well set up for this. Let's have a look back out front. I think Rob just dropped down a position there, because I think Guitarman possibly just went up into P3 there. He's now at a 107.0, push Rob down to 4. Dissection now down into 5th. He's on outlap, about to get started on this. We're going to stay on board with the AlphaTauri as he gets around this lap into turn 1, then switch into turn 2, and then to turn 3. Pretty interesting into the forest sector of the track. And this is going to be the opening lap of that race. So just think about what's going to happen with 19 drivers trying to get through there at the same time. Of course, let's just work with the first half of the grid. Midfield is going to be a whole different story. Back of the grid will have a bit of room to just space off with each other, but they're still going to be fighting for positions out there in the meanwhile as they get on through that. Out in front, definitely going to have a lot of action as these guys are going to be fighting, especially whoever's on provisional pole will be fighting to keep it getting through on that start, because we'll see. Well, we got currently Silent Banshee and KD both on outlaps right now. We got KD getting started on his current lap there. We're going to see they're going to be improving their current lap. They're separated by 2,000th of a second. Let's see what the separation time is going to be at the end of their final laps here around the circuit. And we're running on minimum time left in the qualifying session as well there right now. I'm trying to have a look. I think it's just a minute or under right about now left for qualifying here with Division 5, and getting that close down to the end of the session. Going to be quite a bit of a change. Of Dissection now gets across the line at 107.361, goes just a few tenths faster, a few hundred per second faster, I think he did, but did not improve the position, unfortunately. We're going to switch on over to KD out in front. An invalidated lap here for the Williams driver, unfortunately not going to be able to possibly take back provisional pole away from Silent Banshee, who's now going to hold on to it at least for now. Let's see if he does get a faster lap when he does get started with this, and he is going to get started on that final lap here right now. I think we're down to at least maybe half of a minute left here. It's just under 30 seconds now, 25 seconds left for this qualifying session to get on over with, and we still have Mahida. Unfortunately, no lap time from him, and we still got lap times from 18 drivers in. Quite impressive with the lap times going all the way down to P17. So I think it's looking pretty good for the start of this race. Going to be some interesting battles as well. We'll hopefully be able to follow as most of them as we can. Qualifying here is officially over here right now, guys. We're just in a bit of overtime for everyone who's currently running a lap. They will be allowed to finish that set lap, and as soon as they get across the line, they'll get back into the pits. That's going to be it for them for qualifying. If they do invalidate their lap, that's it. They don't get another chance, as the time is now up. We're waiting to see if Silent Banshee is going to improve his current provisional pole time here, and possibly if any other driver might get past that. I think we have at least 3 or 4 drivers still running on track here, so waiting to see what's going to be the case as he gets around the final turn here, back onto the start finish straight, keeps us close to that pit wall as he can, saves the time, and I don't think he really went any fast. Nope, he did not go faster, so it's still a 2,000th of a second separation time between Silent Banshee and KD. That's a gap that separates the two of them, P1, P2, and I think that's where both of them will start the race. I highly doubt the Williams does get to do another lap here. Does he get to do another lap? Let's see what he's currently on. He's not going to improve that, is he? Actually, does improve. He did get to do another lap there. So a 106.653. Actually got to do another lap. I'm quite surprised by that. And he improves and goes ahead by 2:10, takes away provisional pole on the final run away from Silent Banshee. Quite an interesting play on that one there as well. Where is Rob on track here? I think he might be running one final lap. Is he? No, he's actually running a bit slow. So definitely not looking to finish off that current lap. He's running, and he's possibly the only one left running on track. And that's going to be it there for qualifying for Division 5. Quite an interesting one. especially with those lap times. I'm quite impressed with what I'm seeing there. Top two in the 106. We got a lot of drivers in those 107s, few in the 108s. We got two 109s and a 113. Bill actually got a lap in, but down to 113 with that. So not too bad with the qualifying lap times. We will run through the entire grid before the start of the race on the formation lap. So let's have a look at least at the top 10 here in from the qualifying section. So fastest driver here in Division 5 for this qualifying session for the Brazilian Grand Prix. We got KD there, who's going to take that 106.653. Pretty impressive lap. 2 tenths wrong from that. We got Silent Banshee down there in second. We got Rob qualified to start in third. Guitar Man in fourth. We got Julian in fifth. Darkness 6. Dissection in 7. Valentine in 8. Got a pretty good position. Rager in 9th. And Flavius in 10th. And yep, everybody on the south. So going to be quite an interesting start to this race. We're going to head straight over to the race session itself now. Have a look at the formation lap. We'll have a look at the full starting grid through that formation lap and then get to the race start itself. Going to be quite an interesting one. So let's give these guys about a minute or two to have that load up, and then we're going to get started with the session there. Okay, so into the formation lap itself here right about now, we will be now having a look at our full starting grid at the moment here. Sorry about that, Space Man, I didn't scroll through during the qualifying results there. Was gonna just go through it here either way, but I'm gonna keep an image for that just in case you guys do need it, or in case we do have a lobby crash or whatnot. So I think yeah, they just take a snap of that just in case anything does happen. Anyway, let's have a quick look at these guys are already halfway through the track. So KD starting P1, Silent Banshee starting second, Rob starting third, Guitar Man will start 4, Julian in 5th, Darkness 6, Dissection 7, Valentine in 8, Rager in 9, Flavius in 10th. We do have Mahi in 11, Nitwit in 12. What the heck did I just do? Spaceman in 13, Lone Wolf 14, Avril in 15, Texas Rooster 16, Corvette in 17, Cobain starting 18, and Bill starting 19. Too bad we're missing one for a full grid here, but still a pretty interesting grid. That was an exciting qualifying to watch. I'm pretty impressed with the lap times that are just happening there, how close the gaps were as well. So definitely looking forward to see what's going to happen during the race start here. Everything looking pretty good on the streams, and so far we get a 36 lap race ahead of us. Might just be a 2-stopper or maybe a 1-stopper for most of these guys here. We'll see what the strategy play is going to be in terms of pit stops, because we're going to have to keep an eye out for safety cars and whatnot. Right now I'm going to switch this on over to position changes. You guys will keep an eye on that as we get started with the race. I think everyone's about to get sorted back into their grid. So let's have a look at the final driver down at the back here, Bill, as we're going to wait until he gets sorted back into his grid. And of course we still do have that issue of leaderboard getting a bit mixed up through the opening laps of the race, so do keep an eye out for that. We'll just ignore that and at least keep an eye and see what's happening on the track itself, waiting for these guys to get completely sorted here before we switch on over to the front of the grid. And there we go. Alright, so we're going to keep on board a bit here with Silent Banshee. We got KD on the right hand side there in front of him. He's going to have the outside. We have Silent Banshee on the inside going into turn 1. Both seem to get a bit of an equal start. Looks like the Alfa Romeo has a bit of a better run into turn 1 as they go side by side with this. And looks like the Williams will get a wrong on the inside of turn 2. Does it have a bit of contact as well as the Williams spins a wrong and loses the entire car. He's going to end up all the way at the back of the grid. Looks like Silent Banshee now gets out all the way out in front, and he's going to continue on going that way there. Let's have a look what's happening behind him. I know the radar is a bit mixed up, but we're just going to ignore that for the time being and have a look, see if we have any incidents somewhere in the midfield going on through. Looks like it's pretty clean so far, except for what happened out in front there with the top two cars who started in the race. The KD all the way down 19th on the grid there at the moment. That Mercedes going just a bit wide there with Rob, and he still gets on through pretty well though. We got Sullivan, he's still leading by about 8 tenths. Guitar Man now up into second, Rob now into third, Julian up into fourth. That section now running fifth. We got Julian out of race. What happened to his car? I'm trying to have a quick look. I have absolutely no idea even what happened there, but he's up completely out of the race, so that's going to be a virtual safety car for that incident there. And he's all the way out down at the back of the grid already as everyone's gotten through that. So that virtual safety car is going to slow the grid down just a bit, as you can switch this back over to tires right about now and have a look. Everyone on fresh tires, of course. I highly doubt anyone's going to be taking a stop here right about now. Let's leave this on penalties just in case they do get any, and see what's going to happen. If anyone did take any damage on that race out, we will see a few pit stops happen. So on that side, let's get around through this, and everyone just waiting. And there we go. So race is back on again. Track is green. VSC is over, and we can go back racing, as does Rob here. Goes side by side with Guitar Man there in the Aston Martin, and let's see how these two get through the next turn. And I think who's going to happen is the Mercedes has the inside, but has to hold back just on the racing line, as Guitar Man actually gets out in front and holds the position there in second place. Banshee still continues out in front to lead by about a 5 tenths. I think he's going to try and create a bit of a gap as much as he can, getting on through that. The rest of the grid seems to be going on through after that VSC restart pretty cleanly so far. Looks like we're looking at mostly a 2-stop for some of these guys. We might be looking at a 1-stop, though. Just depends on if they take damage or not in the race. We're trying to go through the entire grid. We're having a look at everyone as much as we can as they get on through. Looks like it's going pretty well so far. Just a bit of an equal gap. Let's go down further down at the back here, because I think we have a few cars pretty close off together, especially right around here. Let's have a look. So previous race leader here is KD, who started P1 in this race, lost that lead right around turn 2 and 3 after having a bit of contact with Silent Banshee on that opening lap. He's about to get past Texas Rooster here for P13 on the inside of turn 1, and looks like he will actually get that position up. Let's see if he does get it though. Why does he keep showing us the back of the Williams? We really don't want to see that. There you go. So he actually does get the position up, avoiding contact there as well. So not too bad with that. He's now behind Spaceman and running a pretty close gap, I would say, and he's closing in that gap as much as he can, getting on through in this session. Let's see how that works out. Of course, Spaceman in front is his teammate. Let's see, are they going to be doing a switch here? Not sure, because he is creeping up on him pretty quickly. Gap is going away very fast. I think they might have to just do a switch with the Williams driver here, because it does seem like KD might be the faster Williams driver, so they might do a switch and allow him to chase after Nitwit out in front. Trying to have a look and see how that's going to work out with these two. Are they going to be having a switch? And there goes the switch right now. So they put, oh, his teammate has a bit of a spin there as well, so Spaceman might have lost the position, and he does lose the position to the AlphaTauri of Texas Rooster there, who now gets up into 13. So that switch has actually cost his teammate. We got someone running a bit wide there. That was the thing. I think it was a House of Cobain possibly there. Not sure. Looks like we got the Williams or Spaceman going into the pits. Not sure if he has any damage or not. Let's get back out in front here and follow on with Rob and Guitar Man right now. These two are still pretty close by, getting on to a 2-10 gap between Rob and Guitar Man. Dissection about 3 tenths behind this, so still trying to fight for a position here on the podium as much as he can here. Silent Banshee out in front by about 7 tenths. He's trying to increase that gap still, trying to get it over a second, because trying to avoid having a car behind of him having DRS advantage at this point here. So Rob still trying to break that gap down further as he can, but has to get away from at least 2 to 3 drivers behind him. Darkness now just about 5 tenths behind that section as well, so he's catching up to them and keeping a close gap as much as he can, getting through. But so far has been going pretty well, except for Julian there. I'm not sure what's caused him to be out of the race, unfortunately. Didn't have to look in the Discord as yet, but might have had contact with someone, or maybe just lost the car on his own. Really not sure what happened with that. We really need to get to catch just that portion of that incident there. Let's have a dissection here, about to get past Rob here right now. Does he actually? He does get past. Sorry, he does get past Guitar Man up into P3, so he's now onto a podium position, but Guitar Man, of course, coming back at him in the Aston Martin. Looks like he's going to try and get alongside him. Going to pull on the inside of this turn now. Let's see if he does get the position up or not. So far so good, because he actually got the position back up in the third dissection, is back down to fourth, but there's still going to be a pretty close call between them, and there we go. So that's going to be put on pause for now. We got a safety car. Corvette is out of the race. What's happened to his car down in the back? Let's see if we can have a look. And there is his car at the side of the track just before the entry to the pit lane there. That's going to cause a bit of confusion and might lead to a few pit stops here as well, because we're currently on lap 5 of 36. Let's see what's going to happen in this case. So it doesn't really matter what the gaps are at the moment. They are going to start to close off that as early as possible here. Because the safety car will get out. Everyone's going to have to follow on behind there. Okay, so back on with this, we do have quite a few pit stops happening there at the moment. So that's 2 drivers out of the session so far. 17 still remains. Still has been a pretty clean race so far. Salabanchi still leads the race, of course. We got Rob currently running second. Guitarman in third. Flavius now up to fourth. We got Mahi up to fifth. We got Adrilak up to 6th. Nitwit into 7th. Texas Rooster now in 8th. Kobe now up to 9th. Dissection down to 10th. We got Darkness now down to 11th. Valentine running 12th. Rager in 13th. KD down to 14th. We got Lona Wolf down to 15, Spaceman down to 16, Bill in 17 at the moment and running at as it is there right now. Of course, we do have quite a few pit stops happen there as well, so that's going to change the grid order up just a bit. We're running on lap 6. Let's bring tires on board for just a bit. We got 2 cars with penalties, and it's only 3-second penalties there at the moment. You can see who's running on fresh tires, who's running on tires that have started the race in. Anyone running 5 laps on their current tires have not done a pit stop there as yet. We can see a few cars 0 laps on them, so they have just taken a stop during this safety car here, which we should be getting back racing probably around lap 7 or 8, maybe probably around lap 8 into lap 8. I'll say we'll see how that is actually going to work out as everyone's starting to catch back up to the safety car right about now, and we should be able to get back started back with the race pretty soon. But quite an interesting change up with the grid order so far, especially there. Unfortunate for KD though, that bit of contact on the opening lap with Silent Banshee did cost him quite a bit. Not sure if they've decided whose fault that is, but I think the stewards might have to have a look at that at the end of the race to decide what exactly happened there and who may be at fault, if anyone is going to be getting a penalty or not. But still, some exciting racing from the 2 out front on the opening lap. We did expect that those 2 might possibly have contact on that opening lap getting through, just fighting to keep the lead on. It looks like it went Silent Banshee's way, because the Williams did lose it a bit after that contact and cost him quite a lot of positions as he got completely spun around off track and had to rejoin the track safely to get back racing again. That just put him back all the way behind. A VSC saved him a bit, just catching him back to the grid. So he is currently 14th and running, has taken a stop as well, so this might actually help him out a bit. So we'll see how it works out. Those 4 out front running on the soft tires there, they might be looking possibly at maybe doing a 1-stop in this race. It could work for a 1-stop if they do a soft to hard strategy. We'll see what the case is going to be, or maybe they might be running a 2-stop with a soft medium medium, or maybe a soft medium soft. Just depends on how they want to do this, and just depends on how they might have to adjust strategy depending on what happens in the race itself. But we're just waiting for this race to get back started, which it should be at the end of this lap. We're getting into lap 8. We do expect to get back racing. We're getting into sector 3 now. I don't think I've seen the notification from race control as yet about us getting back racing, so I'm just still, well, there we go. So we're not in sector 3 as yet, just waiting for us to enter into that, which we are now into. So let's wait, see if we're going to have that there we go. So safety car is going to be in on this lap. We're about to get back racing with this. Salabanchi will lead them back into it. We're going to get back out front, have a look on how this is going to go. He is holding back everyone at the moment, weaving around the track as much as he can. He's going to be the first one to get back going, possibly try to get a bit of advantage against the entire grid as they get back going. We usually most of the advantage usually goes to the car out in front, because he does get to get back racing first. And there he goes, so he gets back racing already. And of course, no overtaking until he get across the line. Flavius here having a pretty good go at Guitar Man for P3 into turn 1. He's going to try to pull it on the inside. Let's see if the Red Bull actually gets that done. I think he has the whole back position for now. He lost about a few tenths getting through, but still a pretty close gap. But he does have the Alpine chasing after him just behind. That's working out for him because he's going to use a slipstream and pull on the inside of the next turn and possibly try to get overtake down. He did look at it, but blocked off a bit by the Red Bull. Has to hold back in P5, and that's going to continue on at least for now. Down at the back with Texas Rooster under a bit of pressure right about now. Has I think the Aston Martin of Adverlock getting a past him. He's up into 7th now. It's about the 10th is where the gap is. Let's see if he's able to get it back. Flavius is still within a 310 gap of that car behind of him, so he needs to be a bit careful with this. Darkness and Valentine going side by side here. The Haas and the Ferrari. Let's see who gets it wrong. Looks like the Ferrari has the inside. He gets it back up in the 10th. Will hold that position up, please, for now. So we're switching right around the track just a bit to keep an eye on what's happening as we get on through the grid. Down in the back here, Spaceman chasing after Cobain for a 12th position. A pretty close gap between them. 2/10 is what it's down to. And we're going to go on board a bit, getting back into the next lap down. He's going to go side by side through the start finish straight with this and possibly try to get this overtake done. Let's see how that's going to work, because he does have the inside. Looks like Cobain currently still holds on to P12. And Spaceman is now pushing it around because the Haas goes off track and now gets back on. He's now down to 15, so Spaceman is up into 12. He's going to continue on with that gap that he has. Chases after Texas Rooster now and closes the gap down to about 2/10. Pulls on the inside as the AlphaTauri goes wide on this. And he gets another position up here, so he's up into 11th already after that restart and running. Down the back there, got a bit of a situation going on because I see Lone Wolf getting through. We got Ranger chasing after Spaceman now, 1.2 seconds where the gap is. Got some position changing out front. Flavius down to 5th. He's lost the position there, I think. Not sure what's happening with that. We'll have to have a look in just a bit. Let's switch on back over to that right now. So Flavius down into 5th, chasing after the Alpine of Mahi in front of him. Not sure if he's going to be able to get his back. He's going to have to chase him down the start finish straight into turn 1. Hopefully gets an inside gap and hopefully get some DRS advantage here, which I think he did, because I really don't have that on to see, but I'm trying to have a look at the console and the car itself. Not close enough to actually get the overtake done. We'll still have to hold it on through. Out in front, Sally Banshee still continues to lead. 1.1 seconds is where the gap is. And top 3 cars currently have done 9 laps on their soft tires that they started the race on. They're going to keep this going, and let's see how much further they will actually keep it going. We're on back with Darkness here and 9 chasing after Valentine for P8, and a pretty close gap that these two have. Out in front of them, we got 2 cars fighting for a position there as Self, Dissection, and Androlak, I think it is. And it's a pretty close gap between them. We're going to switch on through with this and see what's happening. We got the Ferrari of Valentine trying to get alongside that Aston Martin and now trying to push on the inside. A bit of contact between them. Now Aston Martin goes a bit wide, has to lose a position here. He's down behind, in front of the House of Darkness now, trying to keep that position if he can. They're still trying to go side by side here. And looks like Aston Martin gets it back. So Adrelak is up to 7th again. Got Valentine back down to 8th. Did look a bit as if he had to give the position back there. If it was an illegal overtake, he would have had to give the position back, or so just be served a penalty in case he didn't after a certain amount of seconds. So kind of how it works. Out in front, I see Rob has broken the gap down to Silent Banshee just under a second. Starting to lose that just a bit there again. On board with the Ferrari Valentine right now, just behind Adrelak in the Aston Martin. Let's see how close this is going to work and how it's going to go through with them. Trying to keep an eye on the closest gap possibly that we do have, but we're going to go back out in front, I think, with the Alpine of Mahi Mahi at the moment. At 10th is a gap between him and Guitar Man. Let's see if he gets a position up. Car placement a bit important with Guitar Man here in terms of keeping 3rd place on the grid, and doing a pretty good job of it so far as he gets on through in this race. Still trying to go side by side with the Aston Martin, but not able to pull it through as he's forced around the outside, and that's a long way around, so has to just stick back the racing line, just stick it there for now. I will continue to chase and possibly try to line up and overtake in the next few laps if he can here. The Red Bull of Flavius though, still chasing after him, only about 6 tenths behind, so you'll have to be a bit careful about that. On board with the Alpine right now, goes side by side with the Aston Martin, and he's going to take it into turn 1. Gets the position up actually before they even make the turn, so he's now up into 3rd. Guitar Man now down to 4th here, and he's going to continue after that, possibly trying to see what he can do there. So out in front seems to be going pretty well for Silent Banshee. Still leading his own race, 1.8 seconds away from Rob in the Mercedes. Still trying to chase after him, but he's going to have some problems now. We got the Alpine of Mahi Mahi chasing after him, 3rd place. Definitely catching up, because that gap is down to about 5 tenths. So he might have to start being a bit worried about that. Gatorman and Flavia's dissection as well, trying to catch back up to Flavia's, but still at least 3 cars behind of him. So needs to be a bit worried about what's going to happen here. And of course, Mahi Mahi in the Alpine running on the medium tires. So this is going to be a bit of an advantage for strategy for him. He will possibly be able to take over the lead of the race, just depending on what happens here, because Salabanchi and Rob running on the sauce will have to run a shorter stint and do a stop before the Alpine. So I want to see how that works out in terms of race strategy for them. Having a look down the order and see what's happening down at the back of the grid. 3 tenths of the gap is out in front here right now, chasing after that Mercedes. He's trying to look for a gap on the inside, not going to be able to get it through turn 1. Going to hold it. We got Atrelac in the Aston Martin out of this race. What's happened to his car? Trying to have a look if we can here. Where's his car? Is it in the pits? Oh, there's his car. Spun around. It looks like they lost the rear. And that's a full safety car there. This case seems to keep happening right around the entrance of that pit lane. So I'm not sure what's happening around there. If cars are losing the rear and being spun around, or what's exactly is happening. We got a full safety car for this. Let's see what's going to happen in terms of pit stops here in this case, because currently it's lap 13 of 36. And it's kind of a safe way point around the race. If you're going to go onto the hard tires to push to the end, this might just be the point to do it. So let's see if Salah Banshee out in front will be doing a stop here. This might actually dictate whether quite a few cars behind of him take a stop as well, because they're all on 12 laps on the tires so far, going down to Flavius in P5. And a few more drivers, half of that amount of laps down behind of them. They might all want to think about taking a stop at this point in the race. We'll see what the case is going to be, because we're waiting to see what Salah Banshee does here. And I think the rest of the grid behind of him is trying to wash on with that as well. Because if he does stop, they're probably going to have a look at that and go in. And he is going into the pits. We got a Mercedes and Rob going in as well. And I think the Alpine might just be going in. There we go. So quite a few cars. That pit lane is about to get extremely busy. At this point in the race, we're about to go into lap 14. We're probably going to go back racing around lap 15, 16, or somewhere around there. And it gives them much time to actually make it to the end of the race, even on mediums at this point. That's what we can see. Most of these cars will be going on to the mediums. So let's see what's going to happen. Looks like Dissection did not do a stop at this point. He's on hards. Let's see what the strategy is going to be. He's now taking over the lead of the race. We got Valentine, who's on medium, 7 laps done as well. He's now taking over second place. Darkness didn't stop as well. He's now into third. So Salabanchi, who stopped, who was our previous race leader here, he's now down into fourth on the grid. Of course, remember, we are under a safety car. That 7.4 second gap, it's going to come down to about 3 tenths before this race is ready to get back going again. So gonna have a bit of an advantage with that new set of medium tires in the car to get back out into the lead. Of course, those cars in front of him possibly and potentially looking at another stop in this race, or being just a bit slower than the cars behind them. So let's see what the advantage and disadvantage goes to in terms of that restart that's gonna happen in the next lap and a half to 2 laps time. Because at the moment, Dissection still will continue to lead this race. At least a few laps going to be led with him out in front there. But he's going to have a lot of pressure put on him as soon as this race is ready to get back started. He's going to have to pull out a gap as soon as he gets into the next lap after the safety car goes in, to try and keep the lead as much as he can until he's ready to do another stop, possibly being put down a bit further down the grid, fighting his way back up. He might have to run this quite a few laps on those hards before possibly going on to a set of softs and taking it to the end of the race. And I think he's going to be praying and hoping for a safety car, another safety car in the race, to give him some sort of advantage or time advantage in terms of taking that stop. So let's see if that's actually going to work on his end. But so far, running pretty well here in the race. We've lost 4 drivers so far. Not too bad. We still got 15 in it to finish the race, and currently we've finished 15 laps so far. So our grid order is going to change up just a bit. We're going to have a look at all of it in a second here. Alright, so let's have a quick look at a few things here right about now. So we're going to switch this. Let's have a look at what our penalties looking like right now. So it looks like Valentine, currently in second, has a 6-second penalty. We got Spaceman, a 3-second penalty. Lone Wolf, a 3-second penalty as it is. We're going back to position changes. Who has gained the most so far? And it looks like it's out in front with Dissection and Valentine there. But of course, we know their positions are going to be changing on back just a bit after we get back started with the race. So we'll have to have a look at it then and see what the case is going to be. Most of the cars have done 1 stop in this race so far. Bill's still in the pits there at the moment. Tires that are currently on, we're going to leave that on at the moment here. And I think we're waiting for this race to get back started here. Getting back out front with dissection here in the AlphaTauri at the moment. Just running behind that safety car there. And as we're on it here, guys, welcome to everyone joining us live on the stream, or if you are watching the video afterwards, please guys make sure you leave a like here on the YouTube video. Thanks you guys for doing that, and make sure you do subscribe to the channel if you're not as yet, and also have a look at the description of the video. There are links to our Twitch, which we are currently live on as well as our Facebook page, and do check out the link to join our channel Discord. It's all in the description of the video, and much more information as well for you guys to have a look at there. So do check that out as much as you can, but most importantly, please leave a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, mainly where we do most of our streams, even if we're not multi-streaming as we are right now on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Alright, so we're currently on lap 16. Quite sure we'll be going back racing on the next lap. I'll be into lap 17. So we are approaching the halfway point of this race, which we should have been probably like lap 18. So we're approaching that point pretty soon. So let's see how the second half of this race is going to go. First half has been quite interesting. Qualifying, definitely, I enjoyed watching that very much. In terms of the gaps that we had between most of the cars, I would say we had quite some close gaps with those drivers, especially out in front. A lot of those guys who are in the 107s. I want to see what's going to happen down at the end of this race in terms of penalties and what the finishing positions will be. I'm looking at dissection right now, Valentine and Darkness, what their positions are going to be after the restart happens. Let's give it a lap after it goes back into racing, see where they're currently going to be at, if they're actually going to be able to hold those positions that they currently have, P1, 2, and 3, or they will lose it to the cars behind. We know Salabanchi is going to try to pull on through and gain back the lead of the race as much as he can. Got Rob following him, got Peter Mahi following him, Guitar Man behind that, Flavius behind, and quite a few other cars. So I think we're looking, let's see, we're waiting to get through into Sector 3, which we should be doing any second right now. And there we go. So safety car is going to be in on this lap here. Well, hopefully we have no more safety cars in this race. But I think some of these drivers are going to be hoping for another safety car, because it's going to be a bit of an advantage to their race strategy itself in terms of doing another pit stop here. Because under a safety car, it takes a lot less time to do a pit stop in the race. Well, it doesn't take a lot less time. It just saves you time because everyone has to drive slower than the race pace that they usually are at. Now we're back racing again. Let's see how dissection gets off. 7/10 out ahead already as he's trying to lead through, getting into turn 1 with Silent Banshee at the moment, being chased by that Mercedes of Rob. Let's see how he gets through, following on with Darkness. We get the Alpine coming pretty close behind them. There as well some extremely close gaps as they get through Sector 1 here. We got Silent Banshee already looking on the outside, and that Haas goes straight into the barrels on the side. Has a bit of contact, definitely took some damage, lost 3 positions already in the race. And yeah, we're looking at Silent Banshee all the way up into P3, 8/10 behind Valentine. He's going to chase after him right now. And looks like he has Rob and Mahi following on behind him. Darkness down to 6. Running in 6. Guitar Man in 7. Flavius running in 8. Let's see when they do gain positions, if they can gain more positions as they get on through. It is still following on with Salavanchi right now. Gap down to 1.2 seconds as it is there right now. And he's still going to chase on through. Behind this, we still have Rob and Mahi in the Alpine coming on through. Following on each other. These 3 were the top 3 in the race running before that safety car happened, and they're looking to be that again. Of course, Valentine and the dissection standing in the way at the moment here, so Valentine coming under pressure right now. That gap is about to go under a second as they're about to get into lap 18. And we're looking at the rest of the grid, trying to have a look at those close gaps that we have there. See what's happening. So 1.2, I've got a 210 gap right now with Rob and Silent Banshee here, so he's looking at possibly losing that position if he's not careful here. Does need to be extremely careful. Mahi looking to get by the Mercedes, and does he get this done? Let's have a look. Actually looks like he's trying to get alongside him, and he tries to outbrake him into that turn. He actually gets the position up, loses the car a bit though, almost having contact with the Mercedes coming behind, and he still holds out into P4. Side by side, they're going to possibly go through. No, actually the Mercedes holds it down behind. He's still back down to 5th. A 310 gap is what it's at. Out in front, Silent Banshee still chases after Valentine. At 2nd is still what the gap is. It's going and coming right around that phase there. And let's see if he's having some trouble possibly catching up to Valentine, even on fresher tires right now. So this is a bit interesting to watch. Spaceman down in the back there trying to catch up to Rager. And it's a 410 gap. We'll see if he's actually able to break that down. So Rob has lost the position. He's down to 5th. He was currently previously running in 4th. Let's see if he's able to catch back up to the Alpine and possibly get back to position here. Doesn't look like he's catching back up. Silent Banshee now under pressure from the Alpine driver. DRS is now back online. That's going to be a bit of an advantage. Out in front, Dissection looking at losing out on the lead of the race as we had the Ferrari getting down to about 2 tenths behind of him. He's gained back the gap about 8 tenths. We got a virtual safety car slowing down this race once again. Nitwit is out. What's happening down in the back here? So let's see if we can have a look. And I think this once again, I don't know what's happening on track for the Brazilian Grand Prix here with Division 5, but something keeps happening on the entrance to that pit lane, because I think that's exactly right where we noticed where the car was on track before it disappeared. That's right where this incident happened again. That's the third incident in this race happening at the exact spot. I'm not sure if it's a glitch happening there or if they just seem to be having some bad luck at that point on the track. We're waiting for the VSC to be over here, which should be pretty soon. So we are now down to 14 drivers remaining here in Division 5 with Middles F1 and on lap 19. So past to the halfway point of the race. Let's see how the second half of the race goes now as we are currently on it. Waiting for that track to become green once again, which I think quite a few drivers are waiting for here as well. Got a pretty close gap with Silent Banshee here chasing after Valentine. 5 tenths is what it is. He's pushing as much as he can. Still trying to keep that delta positive as we should be able to get back racing here any second right now. And he's having to slow it down just a bit. Cannot do any overtaking at this point here until that track changes from yellow to green. And it's not changing as yet. Bit of a long virtual safety car at this point here. And everyone trying to keep the delta positive to avoid a drive-through penalty at this point, because that's what results if you do speed under. And there we go. So Texas Rooster gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. Just talking about it, and it just happened. And he's down into 12. And of course, we're back racing now. He's now going to be able to serve that drive-through penalty within the next 3 laps or face being disqualified from the race as it stands right now. Out in front here, Mahi just behind Silent Banshee now, possibly getting into P3. Let's see how this works. Of course, that Mercedes of Rob still coming behind them. 3 tenths is one gap is pretty close behind. I haven't spoken about Bill, which I just noticed he had a 3-second penalty down in 13. I'll have to have a look at them down at the back of it in just a bit. Let's see what's happening out front. Silent Banshee still chases after Valentine though for 2nd place. He's broken the gap down to about 6 tenths right now. Dissection in front getting away by 1.3 seconds. He's going to try to keep doing that while these guys are fighting just behind of him for positions here right now. Of course, looking for a full safety car to possibly do a pit stop in the next 2 to 3 laps to get onto the soft tires and then push it to the end of the race, which is going to be a quick advantage to him if he's actually able to pull that off. But I think quite a few cars behind of him will possibly take a stop as well. Silent Banshee is all the way up into 2nd place in the race right now. Valentine now under pressure from the Alpine behind. 1 tenth is where the gap is. He's going to possibly try to be forced to take this on the inside or the outside. Has Silent Banshee just in front of this, so needs to be very careful as Valentine goes side by side with him. The Ferrari is now down into 4th. 14 laps down on those tires. They're starting to get a bit old and a bit worn out, and he's going to have some trouble with them. The Alpine pushes it on the inside of Silent Banshee and not able to push it that overtake down as yet. Still got Valentine trying to fight through this. He's still trying to get the positions back here. Silent Banshee chasing after Dissection now. Is trying to get a gap built against the Alpine behind and leave these guys fighting at least for a 3rd position. Let's see how that gap works out for them. Still about a 4-10 gap between the top, well, at least the 3 of them in front here. We got an issue here with the Ferrari of Valentine. I think something happened in my track. I don't know if he reset it, but it just looked like he fully came to a stop for a second there, and then he went back going again. He's now side by side with I think with Guitar Man here going on through for this. And Guitar Man seems to get ahead. We got the House of Darkness coming behind, side by side with him through turn 1 on the inside, and gets the overtake down pretty cleanly into turn 1. And he's going to hold that position for now. A bit of contact, almost losing the end plate on the front wing as the Haas goes wide and he gets back to position and loses it by at least 5/10 so far. Let's get back out in front. The Alpine of Mahi at the moment having a pretty good run. He's up into a podium position on those soft tires. 7 laps down on them. Let's see if he can push it all the way to the end of the race at this point. Silent Banshee up into 2nd. Dissection doing a pretty good run out in front in P1. 2.2 seconds ahead of these guys. He's probably praying for a safety car at this point to go onto the soft tires at the end and make it to the end of the race. That was Red Bull of Bill being lapped by the cars running out in front. That's why we saw the blue flags there. This has been quite an interesting race from the start coming to this point. Second half of the race we're on right about now is still going quite exciting at this point. So the racing that's happening out in front, we got some racing happening down in the midfield as well. We're trying to follow on through. These guys up front, see who's going to keep on the podium. Silent Banshee under pressure. Can Banshee hold on, getting through into the next lap, into lap 23 and into turn 1. A 310 gap is what he has to hold off that Alpine. And not having the best of luck, he's on the slower tires compared to Mahi in the Alpine, of course, because he is on the soft, Banshee on the mediums. Not going to work to his advantage down the straights until those softs start to give away, which is not going to be right about now. We still got quite a way more, at least 13 and a half laps to go in this race. The only driver currently on 16 laps done on their tires so far is Dissection, who's currently leading the race, 2.1 seconds out in front. So he's doing a pretty good job actually of leading the race. He's increasing the gap and keeping it over 2 seconds as much as he can. Spaceman gets a penalty. Got quite a few penalties starting to come in the race session itself right now. Let's see if that's going to hold all the way through. This 1.9 second out front is starting to go down a bit. Banshee's starting to catch up, but the Alpine behind of him, making it a bit difficult. Still chasing after him, so he has to keep an eye on what's happening behind of him, having a look in those rear views, and hoping that the DRS advantage, which the Alpine of Mahimais keeps getting, doesn't actually allow him to get by. He's trying to get out of that DRS range, and let's see if it's going to work. He's still within about 7/10 of the car behind, so still not able to get away from him as yet. Bouncing all the way down to 11th after coming to a full stop on track, and then getting back going there. And now Mahi gets a penalty here. That's going to be happy news for Banshee out in front. Now he can see the AlphaTauri out in front of him, but 1.4 seconds was the gap is. He's breaking it down at the moment, but still going to have a bit of a difficult time possibly trying to catch up to him. This is going to take quite a few more laps to get done. Of course, we know Dissection possibly has to take another lap. He's done 17 laps on those tires. They possibly cannot pull through another 12 and a half laps at this point. I really don't see the possibility of it, so he will have to take a stop. I think he's just holding out, hoping for a safety car here, because he knows if there's a safety car, Banshee's going to want to take a stop as well. That's going to give him an advantage to possibly get back into the lead, or at least keep that car on the podium by the time they finish the race. So I think he just has to hope that someone does something incredibly stupid in the race and causes a full safety car here. Rob with a 109, their fastest lap so far. He's running here in P4, chasing after the Alpine of Mahi right now. He's going to come back after him. Even on these mediums, he has a comeback. He's chasing after him, using the slipstream force along the outside. And looks like he's going to get that overtake done. The Mercedes is back up into third on a podium place. The Alpine has lost a position once again, of course with a penalty. Not looking too good in terms of finishing positions here right now. Outside of the podium is where he's going to be. But let's see how this will work out. We still have Dissection out in front. Still 1 second is what the gap is. Now going under a second. So Banshee is now going to start to have that DRS advantage up front. Let's see if it's going to do him any good. Spaceman here chasing after Flavius in the Red Bull. 6/10 is what the gap is. We're going to wait for Banshee's gap to get down maybe to about 5/10 and have back a look at them. See what's happening out front. Down to about 3 to 4/10 with the Williams here chasing after the Red Bull. So Flavius starting to come under a bit of pressure. 2/10 now is what the gap is. Rager having a penalty there now. So we're starting to see more and more penalties come on through with our drivers as they get closer to the end of the session. On lap 26 of 36, we're looking at 10 and a half laps to finish off the Brazilian Grand Prix. And looking quite interesting so far. On board the Spaceman right now, having a look out front. Looks like the Alpine chasing after that Red Bull the Mercedes out in front pretty well. Look, see what's happening. They're going to go side by side into the next turn. Looks like the Alpine might have the inside. Possibly he's going to force his way back into the third position here. He does get it back actually. So Rob back down into fourth. These two have been at it quite a bit since this race actually started, and they're still going to continue with it right now. So the Alpine back up into third. Banshee a 310 gap out in front to Dissection, and looks like those tires are starting to give up on the AlphaTauri out in front, and he's losing the gap pretty quickly. 6/10 is what it's down to. 5/10 is what it's come down to right now. He's looking at getting an overtake done here, and he's going to be down into second. He might want to start thinking about doing a stop, getting onto the softs to push to the end of the race, because it does not look like there is going to be a safety car anywhere from this point onwards to the end of the race. Of course, anything could still happen. It could very well have a safety car after he takes his pit stop. Let's see what's going to happen. He's going to continue on through. Banshee is going to try to chase after him into turn 1, looking for a gap, but doesn't actually get it. And he's going to have to continue this into the next lap, possibly on that start-finish straight, trying to get that overtake done. And let's see where this is going to happen, because it definitely should possibly happen on this current lap here. On board, we're on with the Alfa Romeo right now. He's going to go side by side with the AlphaTauri. Has the pace to do this and pushes on through in the inside. Looks like he's getting the overtake done, but the AlphaTauri of dissection fighting it back through, still trying to just a 10 behind. So this could possibly be a switchback if he's able to pull it off. But let's see if he's going to take a pit stop here if he doesn't actually get the position back, which he doesn't look like he's going to get it back from Banshee at this point. So Banshee's going to continue leading on out in front. Dissection is now down to second. 20 laps done on those tires. We got 10 laps remaining in this race. Can he possibly pull off 30 laps on those hards? It's a very, very tough call, and I don't think he's going to be able to want to take a chance to do that. Those tires might just blow on him, so he will have to do a stop going onto the softs. Let's see when he does decide to do this, though. As we're getting around back to the pit entrance here, does he go into the pits? No, he does not. Stays back on the track. He's going to go use a slipstream as much as he can. DRS advantage, and looks like he gets back up into the lead. Surprisingly enough, 21 laps done on the tires, and he still is able to get by Banshee, who's on the mediums with 13 laps done on them on the faster tires, and he's back down with the second. There's going to be another switch happening again as they go down this straight with the Alfa Romeo. Breaking on the inside, he gets back into the lead section, back down to second. So a switch back to a switch, and this is going to continue on this way. The section still going to chase after him, using the slipstream as much as he can. Let's see if there's going to be another switch as they go back down the start finish straight into lap 29, and until the section decides to do a stop here, because we got Mahi now into the pits, going on to fresh softs to push the end of the race. Of course, they're looking at fastest laps here as well. And that's going to be a bit of an advantage for him if he does take a stop right around now. We're on lap 28. We're going to be into lap 29 pretty soon. Gives us about 8.5 laps or so of racing still to go. This is going to cut it a bit close between them. Someone has a close gap somewhere in the midfield here. Going to have a look where that is right about now. Anyway, we're going to keep on with these two as they continue on through down the start finish straight. Doesn't look like Dissection has a good run on this one, so he's going to have to keep it in second. Breaks the gap down into turn 1 though. Has that bit of advantage with the slipstream and DRS advantage. Down to 7/10 is what it is. Goes a bit wide there. Wrong turn 3 I think that was, and to turn 4. Let's see how he continues on with this. He's losing a bit of time right now. 22 laps on that set of tires. They're gonna start to give at some point. I'm not sure what the percentage gone is at this point. But the average will be about at least 70% worn at this point, or 75% at least. So he should have been looking at doing a stop here, but he seems to be working pretty well with his tire management so far, because those tires are still good. He's keeping up with the Alfa Romeo in front of him. 14 laps on those mediums in front, and he's still keeping up down in the second place here. Let's get back on the overhead cam and have a look at this. On lap 29, we'll get into lap 30 pretty soon, as well as we're getting into sector 3 right about now. A 9-10 gap. He still has the DRS advantage here. And Dissection is going to continue on through with that. Back onto the start finish straight. Let's see what the gap is going to be as they get back into turn 1. Doesn't have a close enough gap here to possibly push for an overtake once again, but he might just push all the way to the end on this. 22 laps, that's about 23 laps now done on that set of tires. We got 6.5 laps remaining to go here. It looks like very much like Dissection is pushing these set of tires to the end of the race. Gap behind him is 3 seconds to Robin and Mercedes. We'll see how well that holds off, because if that is holding off pretty well, he might as well just push to get this car to the end of the race. Gap is down to 3/10, 4/10 right now. If he's able to keep it about 3/10 and under, getting around sector 3, he might be able to push for a switch with him and Banshee for P1. So gotta say, some exciting racing here with Division 5 for Midwest F1 this evening here. So not sure about this, but let's see what division we're gonna work with next week, because I'm quite enjoying what I'm seeing here with Division 5 going on through. It's very exciting with the qualifying, so got me a bit hyped up for the race itself, and they've been doing a pretty good job so far. I know we've been kind of quite a few laps now behind, with Banshee and Dissection following on through them lap after lap, but I'm quite interested to see if Dissection is able to get back that position. We're on lap 31 right now. Very few laps remaining in this race. 24 laps Dissection has done on these set of hard tires that he's currently on, and he's keeping a gap of 2 tenths behind that Alfa Romeo, who's running on fresher tires and mediums at that too. So quite impressive what he's able to pull off right now. Mahi there getting a 108.1 fastest lap so far in the race. And he's currently running 6th. I think this is possibly one of the closest gaps that we currently have in the race. Penalty getting another penalty there. Let's have a look and see what's happening down at the back here right about now between a few of these cars. That gap is staying just a bit constant up front. Actually, let's have a look right now as they get on through into turn 1, into lap 32 right about now. It does look like that section was looking for a gap there, a bit covered though by Banshee out in front of him, so had to hold it off. He has a pretty good run here though, getting into the next straight on track. Does he have a good chance of possibly getting back this overtake done? If he wins this race on that set of tires that he's currently running on, this is going to be quite impressive. Banshee places that car pretty well to block him off from getting the overtake done. He was going to get it done, but not enough room to actually pull on through the side. I had to do a switch by switch and still wasn't able to get it. So 3/10 is what I continue on through. If Dissection can keep this gap going through into sector 3, he potentially might have a chance here of possibly getting back into the lead of this race. I think he's lining this up possibly for the final lap. 25 laps done so far. We got about possibly another 4 laps of racing to go here. So we're looking at full 29 to 30 laps on that set of hard tires, and looks like he's possibly going to be pulling it off as well. This is quite impressive for Dissection here. 5/10 is where the gap is, getting back into the start finish straight to go into lap 23. Let's see how close this is going to be, and looks like he's going to have a good run. Takes it on the outside. He gets around back into the lead, and quite impressively does that. We got the Alfa Romeo of Banshee though chasing after him still. It's possibly going to be another switch as they go down this straight. That Alfa Romeo is going to possibly get back that lead. Yep, he's going to get it back. The AlphaTauri has to let that go possibly here, but he's still trying to fight it through. A bit of contact between them as they continue on through. Dissection back down to second. They almost took some damage through that, but they're going to continue on with the chase. 18 laps on those mediums for Banshee, 26 laps on the hards for the Dissection so far. Got 18 laps on the hard mediums for Rob, who's running in third. Guitar Man currently in fourth, 18 laps on his hards. Mahi there in fifth, 4 laps on those softs. He currently has fastest laps, I believe. Flavius running in sixth, 18 laps on his hards. We got Darkness in 7, 9 laps on those softs. Valentine in 8, Spaceman in 9, Texas Rooster in 10th, Rager 11, Lone Wolf in 12, Cobain in 13th. And that's our 13 drivers currently left in this race. We've lost Bill, Nitwit, Archlock, KD, who was the driver who started P1 in the race. Unfortunately, out Corvette and Julian out as well. Back onto the next lap here right about now. Gonna have another go at it on the outside once again and gets the overtake done. Let's see if Banshee is able to get it back at this point here. It might be a switch by switch as they get on road through to the next straight here. Dissection cannot lose this car at this point. He is gonna lose that lead if he loses any grip on that rear, and he's about to lose the lead once again. Another switch between them. Dissection is going to have to time this quite right. He's still trying to fight down from way through this. Banshee still holds on to the lead now as they get on through. This is going to be interesting. If this is a switch by switch getting through lap after lap, we're on lap 34, 36. If Dissection can pull off an overtake before they get to the line on the final lap, he will take the win for this race, but he now has a penalty, which I just noticed there. So that penalty will cost him a race win here this evening. A potential race win at this point, because Banshee's looking pretty good at possibly getting that win, just because not having a penalty. So we're going to bring penalties online on the final lap, possibly there, and see how that's going to work. Actually, just have a look quickly at it here. So it's a 3-second penalty for Dissection. He has to get by and get a 3-second gap, which we know is really not going to happen at this point with what we got going on track. These two are going at it once again. Dissection gets the lead out front pretty early on. If he can do this on the final lap, he's going to get across the line P1. Unfortunately, not going to be able to keep it unless Banshee takes a penalty. So he's going to have to force Banshee into a penalty to potentially get the race win at this point. 4-10 gap is what it is between them. He continues out on in front now. Doesn't look like Banshee is able to get overtake down back as yet. He's pushing on through for it. and we're gonna have to hold it back into second. He's gonna line himself back to get this overtake done. Got on with Darkness here, down that start finish straight. 3 cars trying to fight for a position here, and let's see who gets out in front. Looks like the Red Bull of Flavius gets out in front. The Ferrari just behind, a bit of contact with the Haas though. He spins around. That's Darkness losing positions here. He's trying to get back around and get the McLaren coming behind of him, I think that was. And he gets on through pretty well. Almost a bit of contact happening between them. Getting a bit chaotic down in the midfield as well on the penultimate lap, and this is going to get interesting going down to the final lap of the race. Let's see if this works out. Flavius here, 210 gap between him and the Ferrari out in front. He's chasing after him, possibly trying to fight for P6 and possibly in P5, because we're looking at what the penalties currently are at. 28 laps done on those set of tires that dissection is currently on. It's going to be 29 laps when he goes into the final lap. And there's go 29, so that's going to be a full 30 laps he's going to be doing on them to finish off the race. We're going to put this on to penalties, leave it at that, and have a look on how this race is going to finish into the final lap dissection at Banshee are at the moment. Let's have a look up front with these two as they finish off this race. And as at the moment we have it, we got dissection leading here with the chance of possibly having that win, but instead he down has a penalty costing him a race win. I would have been an incredible race win at that one here against Banshee there, who's on the mediums. 310 gap, so he's going to continue on with that. Let's see Banshee is even able to get the overtake done using a bit of slipstream back onto the start finish straight to get across the line. They're currently going through sector 2 right about now. Going to finish this off this final lap of the race very soon. Got Sally Banshee, who started in second. Looks like he's going to get across the line second, but he is going to take the win for the Brazilian Grand Prix with the way things are looking right about now. We got a yellow flag situation happening with a McLaren somewhere down in the back there. So still about a 5-10 gap as they get on through this. Back onto the start finish straight here right now. And we're going to be on with dissection as he gets around the final turn. And he's going to get across the line. P1 not going to be able to keep it. He might go all the way down to third on the grid here though, just because of the penalty that he currently has. Let's see what that works out. So Sally Banshee goes across the line second. He takes the win for the Brazilian Grand Prix. Rob there, who gets across in third on the line. He takes second place. Dissection went across P1, but he's going to have to take third on the podium for this. And Guitar Man finishes in fourth. We got Mahi coming down here, who's going to take P5. So he's going to keep that at least for now. Valentine here, a 12-second penalty. He's going to go across the line, P6. Not going to be able to keep it though. He's going to go down, possibly just one position or even two, I'm not sure. Flavius though gets across the line, P7, goes up into P6. Valentine down to 7 so far. Let's see if it's going to be another switch. It might actually just stay right where it is. Actually, no, it is another switch. Darkness goes up into 7. Valentine down to 8. We got Spaceman into 9. Texas Rooster's going to get across the line for P10. Ranger 11th. We got Kobe in there for 12. And Lone Wolf, final call to get across the line, might be there. Who's going to get across and take P13 in the race here. I think Texas Rooster is the last guy who's going to get across just because of where he is on track. And I think that's going to be it there, guys, for the Brazilian Grand Prix here from Midwest F1 Esports League Division 5. We're going to have one final look at the preliminary results before the stewards get involved with that for those few incidents that did happen in the race. Driver of the day goes to the Alpine driver Mahi Mahi. A pretty interesting race from him as well. A lot of battles he was involved with getting through the race. So quite exciting. We're here at Division 5. I'll just have a look at the preliminary results before the stewards kind of get into it with the reports are going to get on in. So for our race winner there, Silent Band, she takes the win for this. Of course, getting across the line second. Dissection got across the line for P1, had to take third because of a 3-second penalty. Rob got across the line P3, had to take second, and this one a step up from this. So not too bad with the finish. Silent Band, she taking top spot on the podium. Rob taking second. We got Dissection takes third. We got Guitar Man takes fourth. Mahi Mahi takes fifth and driver of the day and fastest lap as well. We got Flavius there taking sixth. Darkness takes 7th. We got Valentine taking 8 because of a 12-second penalty. We got Spaceman taking 9. Texas Rooster will take 10th. Ranger in 11. Cobain 12. And Lone Wolf finishes 13th on the grid. The rest of the drivers did not get to finish here. Unfortunately, that was Bill in 14. Nitwit 15. We got Atralock 16. KD 17. Who started P1. Unfortunately, pretty out pretty early in the race. And Corvette 18. Julian there in 19. So quite an exciting race. I quite enjoyed watching that here with Division 5 for Midwest F1. Thank you guys for joining on the session. Please remember to make sure you guys leave a like on the video. Do subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Follow us on Twitch, follow us on Facebook, and do check out the link in the description of the video to join on to our channel Discord. I'll see you guys on the next stream here on IG8Live Esports. Until then again, guys.